100 years, the Fresno County Historical Society has worked to bring the life to the heritage of our region by collecting, preserving, interpreting, and holding in public trust the records and artifacts that document the people of Fresno County and the Central Valley of California. And it's the first of the month, so we're here with Elizabeth Laval. She is the president of the Fresno County Historical Society. She joins us on the first Monday of each month to talk about the stories and the people that make the valley a historical place to live. And we're coming off of a great month. March 25th was the night at the Coconut Grove. How did it go? I was there. How did it go?
You were there. It was our 103rd birthday. And so we decided that each year we're going to take a decade.
Yeah.
So in 2019, of course, it was the 20s when we had our centennial, but who knew it wouldn't happen again?
I know.
So we finally got to the 30s. Next year we're going to go to the 40s. There are some beautiful pictures of the Coconut Grove, and your whole team is in there. I hope they grabbed that picture that was all you guys. So we had a lot of places you could pose and do things, but we had bands and music. And didn't you feel like you just walked right back into the 30s?
I really did. And I loved that everybody sort of played the part.
They did.
Like, I was Googling, how do I do my hair for the 30s?
Me too.
And everybody, I mean, it all looked fabulous. It felt like I kind of took a step back in time. And when you went upstairs to where like the gambling was, and right when you walk in, the sign, that was great.
Coconut Grove was, for those of you that don't know, was a nightclub in the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles, but it was sort of the epitome of the 30s because, of course, the Depression was going on. And the Ambassador did some things that weren't all that great in history, but we're not forgetting those. For one night, though, we had to take it back in time, and everybody dressed up and had a great time. And, of course, all the funds raised go toward our educational programs at the Historical Society. Really, all the activities we do are for the good of the cause.
Right. And so everybody who bought a table or who bought tickets or who bought at the silent auction, that money will go to the work that you guys do.
It does.
And what is the work that you guys do?
Well, we are, of course, in a digital age now, so things are changing a little bit. And with COVID, we changed very quickly. So immediately when kids were out of school, we were able to turn our curriculum that they used to come out to do at Kearney, we turned it into digital curriculum that teachers could use. It's called Time Travelers.
That's great.
If you visit valleyhistory.org, you'll see curriculum from K through college. And we continue to do that. We also have community projects where we're able to help people learn how to, now I know you probably have a box of pictures that you need to clean up. We're helping people learn how to preserve their photos.
Oh, that's great.
And our biggest project right now is we're doing oral histories across the county, and that will continue on and on. And we just do more activities. We have a Mother's Day tea coming up. And of course, our monthly ag tours. People are having a ball on those.
Yes, the ag tours are great, and I mean, that's Central Valley history is what we do in ag. And so you guys do a great job of letting people see firsthand what we do. But another thing that you do that I love, because it just sort of reminds me every month to sort of take heed of where we live and what has come before us. So you send out a newsletter.
The Grapevine.
Right. And so what was in this month's newsletter?
So this month I had two real topics that were on my mind. Of course, we always talk about the activities. One, you can't help but know what's happening in Europe. And so we always bring it local. And so we did a story on the Red Cross and the history of the Red Cross here in the Valley, and also how they helped soldiers and the family on the home front during World War I particularly. So there were some beautiful pictures of the shoes they were gathering to send to Brussels in France during the winter and all of that. And then, of course, if it's spring, there you're looking at that
Look
photo.
at a pile of shoes.
You have to see that. That's the courthouse, by the way, the one that's no longer there. And people came from all throughout the county to drop off their shoes, and these were sent overseas. Beautiful job that the Red Cross has done for well over 100 years here. And you can see that this was a booth at the fair, and they set up at the fair because that was really where people would go, and they could get boxes, because when the men were serving, their families were, a lot of them were farming families, and they got left behind. And so the Red Cross was trying to fill in that hole and did some things. But also we did sports.
Yes,
because
the sports
if
was
it's spring, it's got to be sports.
Right.
And one of the things we love to look at are the uniforms.
I know.
You got to look at this. This is 1913, Fresno High School.
Those are some high-waisted pants.
I don't think any boys' high school team would pose quite like that right now. But you get to see the shoes. Now, this is interesting. You can see there's a little box in there. That was Mayor Ted Wills in the future.
Oh.
He became, but that was the Danish Creamery team. And all these teams sponsored baseball teams, all
Yeah.
these companies.
Right.
And they were very competitive. And they didn't play in the Rinky Dink League, but there was one place called the Rinky Dink League.
how
I'm
funny.
not sure how fun it was to be in that. But we were looking at golf.
Yes,
attire.
there's one more picture of the golfing, which I love.
Oh, if it
we
can
have it
come
there.
up. Well, and who would wear long skirts?
I know.
Wool clothes.
I know.
And not only that, but they had heels to play tennis.
Yes.
Okay, there you go. This is at Sunnyside. This was one of the very first golf clubs. We have 2 centennial golf clubs.
Right.
Here in the valley, we have Sunnyside, and Fort Washington is getting ready
Look
to
at those
celebrate.
outfits.
They're taking lessons, but I mean, come
They're so
on.
fancy.
But they're wearing high heels.
I know, it's so funny that they don't like sink into, I'm sure that was a problem, that they like sink
know.
into the green. I absolutely love a look back at history, and I think especially for the Red Cross,
Yes.
it's easy to forget that right now you are making history.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to be able to look back and see all of the work that we have done up until this point. And at one point, 100 years from now, they will look at pictures of things that we're doing. So Elizabeth Laval, I love having you here. I love taking
Thank
a
you so
little
much.
look back at history. Thanks for inviting me out to the Coconut
next
Grove.
year, same week, we'll be
USO.
celebrating, USO 1940s.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay, coming up here on Central Valley today, the Valley Animal Center, they join us featuring a new adorable adoptable, but our very own AJ Fox has some more history for you. We'll be right back after this.
The Rancho Laguna de Tachi was a Mexican land grant given to Manuel Castro by then-Governor Pío Pico in 1846. This was very close to the beginning of the Mexican-American War. At the end of the war, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo said that all land grants would be honored, so Manuel Castro owned the land until he sold it to Jeremiah Clark some 20 years later. Now, Clark leased his land to Polly Heilbrunn and Company with a 10-year option, and then they could buy at the end of that 10 years. But his wife, Charlotte, had other ideas. She had him declared mentally incompetent, meaning any deal that he made with a company would be void. And although Jeremiah fought in court for several years, Charlotte eventually won. She took ownership of the land, and she sold it to 2 men. The 2 men were named Llewellyn Nares and Charles Layton, and they both established communities, and they both named those communities after themselves. Llewellyn Nares gave us Lanier, and Charles Layton obviously gave us Layton on the map of Fresno County. With Josh Dean behind the camera, I'm AJ Fox.